It really is the gift that keeps on giving, or in Outlast Trials' case, keeps on spooking, since the journey of Murkov's reagents does continue in the second program. Now, if you have not already, be sure to check out our explain video for the very first program, Snitches Get Stitches, as we will be continuing on from that and speaking about the second program, Grind the Bad Apples, which unfortunately is another life or death situation for the regions of the facilities. Without further ado, let's get into it. You, along with 3 other regions, are sent once again via the train system to a brand new facility that holds the prime asset of Mother Gooseberry. She will be the main danger as we traverse our way through the amusement park of horror and death. We get Dr. Easterman once again speaking to us during our journey, as he mentions that we, the regent, are an adult, but the youth will not obey our orders and must be corrected, before saying that there are children murdering adults in the root canal and they need to be punished. Now, don't freak out, I will quickly clarify that the children being spoken about are simply hypothetical and are only mannequins and dolls, but the underlying theme in regards to the brainwashing is as serious as you could imagine. And once we finally arrive at the set, which is actually named Funderland, which can actually be found on posters and signs around the park, we can see just what levels Murkov is willing to go to in order to create an immersive experience for their regents, and I think you have to salute the effort, as incredibly terrifying as it might be. We can see Mother Gooseberry parading above the door as she is dancing with a mannequin, and her quirk is the fact that she has this little duck puppet in her hand which she calls Dr. Futterman, hence the name of the amusement park. And Dr. Futterman is really good at removing people's faces, and she demonstrates that to the guests as they enter the amusement park. A fun little thing that you can find as you traverse the landscapes of Funderland is numerous mannequins and people will have skin faces that she literally leaves scattered all around the place. Once we manage to enter the park, we will once again be joined by various failed ex-regents from earlier versions of Project Lathe, much like we did in the police department. But the amusement park is full of everything that you could imagine: rides, games, tickets, or even a diner, except for the gory Outlast kind of fun. Our very first job is to unlock the gates to the area called the root canal. In order to get entry, the regents must collect tickets by playing the carnival games, but instead of using balls, you're using human hearts. Once you complete the game, you take your ticket to the fancy ticket collection robot, and after 4 tickets, you're actually allowed in. And our gracious host, Mother Gooseberry, is there once again to greet us. I will have to blur most of the room for YouTube, but it's an absolute mess up there, and she is once again demonstrating just how dangerous she is. A little ride car appears, and we need to wheel it throughout the root canal to punish the children at the end. Again, they're not real, just some mannequins that are treating a real person very poorly in their cart. The ride is supposed to be a kind of water ride, and you will need to re-engage the water flow so the cart can continue to be pushed throughout the area. And speaking of area, much of the ride is dressed to look much like the human mouth, but with rotting teeth and such, hence the root canal name. But it also has a lot of things that you would expect in a child's toy box, like building blocks and rubber duckies, so it's not all horrifying. Once you push the cart all the way to the end, you'll find yourself a giant grinder that you'll need to push the mannequins into in order to punish them. And after doing so, the regents will need to hit the burners and flee the ride, and hopefully the trial altogether. Once they arrive back, Murkov will once again clean and strip the regent of all items and return them to the sleeping room, with a big wad of Murkov dollars to go and buy that badass robot action figure, and then send them back to do even more deadly trials, this time to punish the miscreants. This is largely a similar premise. The regents will arrive back to Funderland, but this time the place has a quick coat of paint on the exterior walls, which will distinguish the areas a little bit more. There is a grinder in the main room, and there are 4 child mannequins that are creating trouble throughout Funderland. Your job is to find them, deactivate them, and ultimately return the mannequins into splinter form using the grinder. And they once again will have to deal with Mother Gooseberry, as she is not very fond of regents coming into her place and disrupting the children's mannequins. Also, a fun little addition to the level is that the regents typically, if you don't want to be seen, will need to sneak around to not be noticed. However, once you have the mannequin in your hands, they will have a little voice box inside of them that will yell out for help and ask the failed regents and Mother Gooseberry to, murder you, revealing your location for everyone around you, so this is a little more dangerous for the group. Once you've ground all the miscreants, you can head back onto the train and head back to the sleeping quarters. Some very nerve-wracking arm wrestling later, and you're ready to be sent back out for the third and final challenge of the Grind the Apples program. Open the gates. You will return to Funderland and you will need to unlock the gates preventing you from leaving, Much like the third challenge of Snitches Get Stitches, which teaches the Regents how to escape from a captivity environment, Eastman speaks to us again on the journey and asks us to view ourselves as a spider, building a trap to ensnare the future. The underlying tone of the Grind the Apples program is that of obedience. While Snitches Get Stitches taught the Regents to defend Murkov and its interest from people looking to expose them, Grind the Bad Apples teaches the Regents the importance of obedience and what can happen if you don't, or rather what you should do to somebody that isn't. It's pretty messed up overall, but I mean, you sort of come to expect it from this universe. Much of this challenge takes place in the background area of Funderland, which has a whole bunch of wires scattered throughout that needs to be deactivated in order to open up the gates. And once you do, you'll get your grade and will be ready to head back once again. And that is what Murkov's second program, Grind the Bad Apples, is all about. I was hoping this video was going to be a little longer, but on the surface level there wasn't quite as much to this one, I'm afraid. You can, however, expect a breakdown of the third program tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And shortly after that we'll have the full story explained for Outlast Trials. Exciting times. If you made it to the end of the video, please write canals in the comments down below. We always read the comments sections, so thank you to everybody that shows support. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like or possibly even subscribe if you want more content like this in the future. Until next time, peace.